Homeports is a nonprofit that helps senior citizens in Kent County to stay in their own home as long and as safely as possible. And we do that through volunteers, through educational programs, and through what we call providers, which are services provided by outside agencies or by local businesses that we have vetted that our members can hire. I think of it like an Angie's List for Kent County. By far, our biggest request is for volunteer transportation, which is huge. Because as you age, you get to a point where you can't drive anymore. And many of our members are very isolated. They don't live in town, but even if they did, there's no public transportation. If you can't walk to your doctor's office or to the pharmacy, how are you going to get there? The movement of a lot of the physicians down to Easton has been a huge problem too. Even Homeports won't drive outside of the county. So I think it's really important that those doctors maintain a presence here. A lot of it is just companionship and advocacy. We have a pilot program right now called the Neighbor to Neighbor program, which is more of a one-on-one, I think of it like Big Brothers, Big Sisters for, senior citizens. It's a very limited program right now. It's in the test phase. It's far more volunteer-centric. It requires a lot more from our volunteers than our regular program does. But a lot of our members are not just isolated, they don't have family members nearby. They depend on their neighbors and they depend on us. The county provides some services, but it gets to a point where you're really alone. And so this Neighbor to Neighbor program is bringing in a friend, basically, somebody who checks up on you, somebody who takes you to the doctor, and then follows up. Homeports does not do medication services, so we can't put your little pills in the box and make sure and hand them to you and make sure you take them. We can walk you through it, but we pretty much stay away from that. We have about 60 volunteers. Not all of them are drivers. I would say we probably have at any given point 25 or 30 active drivers, most of whom are on vacation this week. And I'll fill in when I can't find a volunteer driver. It's important to us that our members always get where they need to go. We do have a limit of 5 rides per month because we just don't have the volunteer base to let people, to have somebody every day. So our volunteer transportation is free. You don't pay anybody, you don't pay for gas, nothing. Our volunteers will come and get you. You have a doctor's appointment. We request that you call a minimum of 24 hours in advance. The longer lead time we have, the easier for us it is to find a volunteer. Sam will go pick up the member and take him or her to the appointment, and then usually if they'll either know when they'll be finished or we'll have the physician's office call and when they're finished and just go back and pick them up. So you're not sitting there waiting in the doctor's office. It's not that hard to volunteer for Homeports. I mean, if you have to come in town anyway, doesn't hurt to take somebody to the doctor, go run your errands, go back and pick them up and take them home. We have a training video, and we used to do more training than we do now. It is on the agenda for 2017 to really bump up the training. Learning how to get an elderly person especially one on a walker, in and out of a car can be taxing. We also do a free home evaluation if some of our members will do that, some of them aren't interested, but where we walk through the house and point out hazards. Throw rugs are apparently a huge one. But there's others. Lighting is important. Financially, it's our annual appeal, which just went out. And our biggest, it's not really a fundraising event, but it makes money for us, is the health fair, the annual health fair. This year we did it in the fall. We had previously done it in the spring. And we did it in conjunction with the Kent County Public School System, which was great because we had a big turnout and it wasn't just senior citizens. The health fair started out as a senior symposium, which was just more of lectures about things that interested seniors. Now it's about general health for the entire county, and it's something that the county really needed. We did that. We had 3 major sponsors: the hospital, Anne Arundel Medical Center, and the Kent County Health Department. We need drivers more than anything. We require a background check for all of our providers and volunteers, and that's as much for their safety as it is for our members' safety. And your driver's license, we do check your driver's license. We are limited. We have financial assistance members, so people who basically don't pay for their memberships. A membership is $350 a year. And it's limited to 10% of our general membership. That is funded through 10% of our donations. So there's a balance there. We also will accept gift. I don't want to say gift membership because we screen our members too, because so when somebody says, I think I want to join Homeports, I will go and meet with them and make sure they understand what we can do, and then we understand what their needs are, so that we know we can help them. There are people outside of our scope, and I don't want to make promises that we can't keep. But having said that, so there are occasionally I'll have somebody, can I buy a membership for my grandmother? And I'm like, well, as long as your grandmother qualifies as a member, absolutely. I've also had Women in Need was very generous last year. They bought, I think, 5 memberships for people in need, which is, that falls outside of the 10%. So
right.
That's a good thing.